What's up, everybody, and a very warm welcome to She. This is where we discuss issues affecting women, and we also celebrate the wins of women in our lives, our own wins. My name is Lily, and I'm so excited to go into today's topic. Today, we are talking about marriage, and we're talking about the 5th anniversary. What was it like before the 5th anniversary and after the 5th anniversary? With me, I have Hannah Gatto. She is a mother of 2. Her children are aged 12 and 9. Imagine it, she looks like this. Well done. And you've been married for 14 years. You're an accountant.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to having that conversation. To my right, it is Yvonne Kawira. You're a mother of 2, aged 4 and 1.
Yes.
And you have been married 6 years, going on to 7.
Yes.
And you are a journalist and a presenter.
Yes.
Karibu sana. You look amazing as
Thank
well.
you so much.
And well done.
Asante sana.
No mean feat. And to my farther right, we have Margaret Njadi, mother of 3, aged 25, 23, and 14. Well done.
We're ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've been married for 28 years. You have been in the NGO world, and now you're in business. So we're talking about the 5th anniversary, and what I saw somewhere is they were talking about 3 stages of marriage. That is the dream stage or the honeymoon stage, where we're all perfect, things are going well, this is the love of my life, this is it. And then there's the drama stage, which lasts for a bit of a long time. We're going to talk about it. Where now I'm patani, and you even start wondering, is this the person for me really? Did I make a mistake?
Yeah.
And then there is discovery stage, where you discover who this person is, who you are, and then you decide to accept each other. So I guess I'll start with you, Margaret. What was the worst year of your marriage?
Okay. My worst year of marriage was the first year.
Okay.
I think I just got to know the person I didn't know. I thought I knew him.
Yeah.
But when we got to start, when we had our wedding and we started living together, I actually just realized that I don't know him. He will do things and I'm looking at him and I'm wondering, who is this person, Because out there when you're dating, someone can be very perfect,
Yes.
This all-together person. When they're coming to meet you, well groomed, and they treat you nicely. But when you come into the house, things are different.
Yes.
Then you just realize there is so much difference. I'm a quite orderly person, and then you look at him and you just realize that he's not as orderly as he looks.
As you thought. Yeah.
And as he looks, so that can be a start of a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you say that, for people who don't live together before they get married, I think that's the dream stage is usually the dating phase.
Yeah.
And also it's supplied by the fact that you don't have to be together for long, so you can sustain that act.
Yes, that's
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because you're not together for
Yeah.
the whole day. And so you will see the best part of me. When I go home, I'll be my real self.
Yeah.
But once you get married,
Yeah.
now you have, there's nowhere else to go pretend.
Yeah. There's nowhere to
The real
hide.
person comes out.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you as Hannah struggled with?
I think what I struggled with most was the fact that I was already independent, working, living on my own. And so now I have gotten married, and so I'm living with my husband. And so I'm under someone's authority. And so I need to state where I'm going, and I need permission to do some
you're
things.
a firstborn.
Yes. And then I found it very strange because I would have to ask permission to go see my parents. And my parents live in Nairobi like me. So why again am I asking for permission? So that part of realizing that there is someone who you're with, and so someone you need to inform about a few things you're doing, that took me aback.
Okay.
Yes.
And, just clarify for us, are we asking for permission or are we informing?
I think we are informing, but even the informing part
Feels like.
Unaweza ambiwa hapana.
Yes.
you were not informing anybody before. Yes.
Yeah.
You just picked up your things and
you
went.
Yeah.
So now you have to inform, and so the information also has a debate of, we had also planned to do this.
Yes.
Can we do this another time, or can you go visit another time? So there's someone's schedule that you're trying to fit into, or you're trying to fit 2 schedules together. Previously, we were very independent. So that also brings a bit of shock in your first year of marriage.
Okay, so you and your husband, you had mentioned earlier that you met in the same organization.
Yes,
is
we
it?
did.
What was that season like before now you go into marriage and everything? How was it when you met him vis-a-vis now when you married and were now living together?
It was pretty interesting for me because when we started off, we were very close friends. And I, of course, didn't picture life with him in future. It was just the friendship for me, and I really, really valued that, to the point that where he suggested that we start dating, I felt like we might ruin the friendship bit by moving into marriage. And it was a struggle for me, but he kept assuring me. And then, enter into marriage, seeing this person every morning and him reminding me that, hey, I made a promise to you and I'm going to work towards it.
Yeah.
So it was, it was a discovery stage for me and, exciting. I can say that, yeah.
Yeah. So from all the three of you, it seems like the drama stage is where you disagree with a lot of things and where you're dealing with your differences and all that. You had mentioned off camera that you packed many times in your heart, in your mind, literally. Well, is there a packing that you can share with us why you packed?
When I look at it today, I think I was quite childish. I actually laugh at it myself because when we were preparing for our wedding, I stopped working for some time because of the pressure at work. And then I had to step out of work, and for some time I was at home. And he forgot to leave me bus fare to go to town to do a few things. I felt mistreated. I felt taken advantage of. I felt like he's treating me like this because I don't have a job of myself.
Yes.
And that was very dramatic, that evening, because
your true colors also came out.
Yes,
I'm sure.
I couldn't speak. I was moody. I was very upset, and I think I didn't talk to him for many days.
Oh,
Yeah.
you are the one for silent treatment.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he's trying to figure out, why are you upset? He couldn't even remember that he forgot to leave bus fare. So when he came in the evening, he was fine. It was okay for him. He had a great day. He was cheerful. And then I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me and wondering, what happened when I went to work? What messed you up? And I am feeling so fumed that I can't even speak. Today when I look at it, I think, grow up.
Yeah.
Those dramas sometimes can be because of expectation, unrealistic expectations, or even something that if you just decided to talk about them, they are small issues, but because you do not know this person and how they take it, then you might just keep quiet and you're not able to express yourself. And this happens a lot when you're moving from the infatuation stage where you're also excited about this person when you're dating, when you're meeting, and this all together right guy, and then you start seeing his weaknesses, his things that you are like, okay, I didn't think you are like that. I didn't think you are like that. Or even small things like leaving socks on the floor, or you are sweeping and you find them under the seat, and you're like, can't you just pick and take them where they're supposed to be taken?
Yeah.
Is that a standard problem in marriages? Have you dealt with the hamper? Every wife complains about.
No, my husband is very, very organized.
Yeah.
He is very organized. So most probably it is me who has not put things in place. And so now he has not to read the riot act. And so I think part of my drama stage was that I am not doing things as he expects. And then I'm thinking, but I'm different. Then he says, no, but we're in this house together. And if we don't correct yourself, what are you teaching the children? Yeah, what are you teaching the children? So you end up arguing about very small things like, why did you leave this here? Put it back where you got it from.
Yeah.
Put it back. And also, obviously, you're in a hurry, and so you never did put it back. And so we have another argument. So I think for me, drama stage is just about, you said, I said, I think, you think, I am not. So every time you're trying to defend yourself, and not realizing that whatever your partner is telling you may benefit this marriage.
Many times in marriage, we fight to win.
Yeah.
Or to have the last word.
Yes.
And I think the more correct thing is fighting for the marriage to win. If we were more focused on, I want this marriage to win, that's both of us, then even if you feel like I've not won, but these things are working out, and because I have picked his input and he's picking my input, then we are a better team.
Yes.
We have a better marriage. I think marriage winning is so key than I won, he won.
Yeah.
And when we got that with my husband, I felt like we started doing things better. I do not look for payback time when now it's my turn to win. Or it's he won last time, so he cannot be winning every time. Yeah. So if the marriage, we are focused on the marriage winning, it's such a key thing.
Yeah. It's actually like us against the world, because you are one, and all these issues are the world. So you're literally just putting a strong defense, against the world.
That's true.
Yeah. That's what I thought was a breakthrough for me also. Yeah.
Share, how old were you married when you got that breakthrough?
Well, we would say after the 1 year, because the drama stage was the first year of me, like she said, thinking I have an authority now that I need to report to, and if I'm running late in the evening, I need to report to again. It was difficult because I felt sometimes even I had to question him and ask him, look, we met when I had a degree, you had a degree. And so it's not like you're helping me. So that kichwa ngumu was what was bringing conflict. But once you understand that this is not a fight against your husband, we're trying to chart a way forward as a family, then, the level ground comes in. Yes.
Wow. Guys, we're going for a short break. When we come back, I will ask about in-laws. We'll be back after the break.
This Thursday on Historia, Tamaduni na Sanaa, we explore the naming culture in Kenya.
Every one of us has a divine purpose. There's a why we are here.
It's like you're declaring. It's a prophecy on that child. What do you want them to be?
Also part of the show,
my kind of work is majorly focused on expressionism meets realism. It still has elements of the tradition in it.
That's on Hitasa, this Thursday at 8:30 p.m. on Family TV.
Welcome back. This is She. My name is Lily, and today we are talking about 5th anniversary. And as we speak, remember to send your SMSs to 20316, or you can WhatsApp us your feedback on 0786 316 316. This show is also running on YouTube, so you can catch it there in case there's something you want to go back on or there's something you want to recap. We are also on YouTube. From the break, the first thing I would like to know is, what was the 5th year of your marriage like? Can you remember?
On the 5th anniversary, now we had a baby who was like 3 months. Okay. Yeah. And so I think for me, marriage at that time was very confusing because you're dealing with a career, you're a mother, and you still need to be a wife. Yeah. And the other roles still run. Yeah. And also having a second child after the first one, you need to ensure that the children get to gel and to get to know each other, which is also a difficult one. So my 5th anniversary, I was sleepless because you're handling 2 babies and you still have a job to run to and to run and a home to run because now with 2 children, there's a house help also. Yeah, so sometimes you tend to forget yourself. Yeah, I think that's what I remember of my 5th anniversary.
Okay. All right, so what I remember on my 5th year anniversary, I was pregnant with my second born child. That was in 2020. And it was difficult because I had my career was just taking off. At my office, they were forming a new department and I was part of that team. So learning, growing, and then there's COVID. So it was difficult trying to balance all of that and still being a wife, like she said. So you're exhausted all the time. and you still have, nobody understands that you're exhausted all the time. You still need to give and give and give. Yeah, that was what I struggled with that time, yes.
Okay. Can you remember?
Yeah, I can. I think like Hannah and Yvonne, I didn't get babies immediately after our marriage, our wedding. We took like 3 years before we got babies. We had a few challenges here and there getting babies. So she had 2 babies. I think I just gotten my first baby, and she was around 1 year at our 5th anniversary. But I was very excited. I think I had come from this space of not having children, and it had its own stresses from the society and from the family and from myself, you know, and trying to work out things with my husband, where we had to remind each other that we said I do to each other, you know, not because we are going to get babies, but because we loved each other. That was a journey that we had to journey, and it wasn't an easy journey because of all the pressure from the society, from the family. They keep asking, Bado, you know, not yet, you know, what's happening, you know, are you guys taking family planning? And you're like, you almost are asking, what's your business?
Yeah, it's none of their business.
But it still weighs down on you, and it can really mess up your marriage, and especially if you're not, both of you are not grounded properly, you know, and where you can go home after the first year. I think it's okay when you don't have a child. But now after the first year, the second year is not that easy, and the third year. So you have to come back home from wherever and still look at each other and say, you're sufficient for me, I'm happy with you. And it wasn't easy, but I think at our 5th anniversary, we were so excited because God had finally answered our prayer, and we had our beautiful baby girl.
Wow.
Who is now 26, so turning 26 this year. So I was very joyful after some turbulence of challenges and things to deal with, and we were like, okay, at long last we can have a full family with a child.
Wow, that is beautiful, and it's an encouragement for someone who is watching and you know, seeing their friends getting children. That's another thing that really itches you as a woman. Your friend is pregnant, they've gotten their second born. You're
some
there.
come with honey babies.
And then maybe even they're complaining, oh, I didn't expect it.
I know. It's true.
So I'm sure that that getting children, how to raise the children is always something in-laws want to have an input on. How do you navigate the in-law world? What are some of the tips and tricks that helped you in your relations with your in-laws?
I think what really helped me is one statement I had said earlier, to choose your battles, and to just know that that family, they love you just the way you are, but you came because of their son. Yes. So if their son decides you are not part of them, then even them, they are finished with you. But I think just to give them the respect they deserve, and to choose your battles. We are not going to fight about many things. If they come to visit, this is my home, so this is how things run. But if I am visiting them, then I will just comply. So, but I did allow, and I do allow the children to get to know all their relatives, because those are their relatives. The in-laws are their relatives. And there is no bad blood that I am going to share with them about. So, as you realize, there are 3 generations. They are the parents, then there are the siblings, and then there are the children. So it gets to a point there's some conflict that will not go to the parents or to the children. Allow the children to get to know their in-laws. And as I said, choose your battles.
I think on top of choosing your battles, it's very important for both of you, and especially your husband and yourself, to know that this is your marriage. And if both of you have that understanding, then you will shield him from your family. Because it's not like it's just the
men's family who have issues. There are girls' families who have major issues with who you married. Your husband is like this, he's like this, he's like this, you know, but both of you must agree this is our home. And if it's your home, then you know that if you're going to complain to my people, they always side with me. I'm the nice one, you know, I'm the good one, you know,
And you're
I'm
the one
perfect one.
And you're the one they cannot throw away.
Yes, and to the husband's family, he's the perfect person, apart from this woman who came to mess up his life, you know, and now he's no longer the same kind of a person. Maybe he doesn't even support us financially. He doesn't come home as often. He doesn't love me as much. But if you are able to just decide this is our home, and then we will build it together. Then agree on how are we going to handle our in-laws. I found that very helpful in our marriage, where if it's a battle I feel like I'm not able to stand with my mother-in-law and fight, my husband will stand and fight for me, because my mother-in-law will always side with his son. That's true. You know, and where he feels like there are explanations that needs to be done about me, it's not me who stands up with my sister-in-laws or my brother-in-laws or my mom-in-law to fight that battle. That my husband can actually be the bridge. And he says, my wife and I would appreciate if you guys did this. You know, we have decided, we is a very common thing when we are dealing with in-laws, so that you're not going as, I don't like the way you treat me, and you're telling your mother-in-law, your sister-in-laws, or your brother-in-laws, they just fight you back. But when you have the front of we have agreed, we would appreciate if this is done differently. And I found that work very well.
She brought up a very important point of protecting your spouse from your family. And whenever you have an argument with your husband, it's not wise to go talking about that to your family. Because like you said, you're the one they like, you're perfect to them, you're the one they can throw away, and they're not in love with your husband. You'll forgive and forget.
You'll forgive and forget.
And you know that seed you planted in your sister's mind, in your mother's mind, will grow. So next time he sees or she sees him, they're thinking, this guy who came home at midnight, this guy who almost slapped my daughter, this guy, you know. So it's important to draw the line where your issues in marriage, you know, stretch. And it's important to sit and talk with your husband and protect them from, or exposing them to your family. So that has worked for us, yes.
I love that. I love that. I would like us to discuss about infidelity, whether it happened or you felt threatened, you know, and all those things that people say you should do to avoid infidelity, you know, make sure usiwahi nyima bwanako, let's call it mabasaraha because it's watershed hours, but you're not always able to give him on order. You know, sometimes you're hormonal or you've just given birth, you know. How do you deal with that feeling like you're threatened or suspecting him? You know, that's a very slippery place.
That's true.
Who will start?
The youngest.
I honestly don't have an experience in terms of infidelity. I've never had to deal with that because I even get surprised when someone says simu ya bwana yako ni private. We've never had to deal with that because all our phones are open, are accessible to each one of us. And I've not, you know, felt threatened in that aspect. But when it comes to maybe house helps, you sometimes need to draw the line in, you know, in terms of how is she going to be dressing in front of my husband, in front of my kids. So that's where, not really a threat, but, you know, this is my house and you need to...
Wisdom.
You can't,
just wisdom.
You can't walk around in hot pants, you know, in my house, and I'm not doing the same, you know. So it's not a competition, but know what brought you here and stick to that.
Oh, I love that.
And I like how even my husband just decides you deal with the house help and, you know, the instructions and everything. He is the head of the house and these are small decisions, so you make them. So I like that works for us.
But I think also as women we deal with a lot of insecurities and sometimes because we are quite wired differently than men and we can connect so many dots together and I like watching Mike Gugan when he talks about women's brain and men's brain, and you can connect many things. And because we are already dealing with a lot of insecurities, so when you see anything, you can bring it up as a suggestive relationship or a suspicion or something like that. It's not like those things don't happen. I believe they do happen, and I know I've dealt with where I have pulled my husband and I've told him I don't feel comfortable about the way you handle this colleague at work, or how you handle. You spoke to the house help in the house, and if you can get to that place where you can speak that way, then your relationship is maturing and has matured to a certain level. But I also believe that there's so much insecurity that as women we need to deal with, so that you can be secure, like you can be at peace. Otherwise, you will keep thinking about everything and anything, even when there is nothing. You know, and you can't tether your husband. You know, he has job trips.
But I like her example when she said that she's never had to deal with it. There are people who deal with it on the first month of marriage, you know. And if you're watching, maybe you're thinking, oh, is it something I'm doing? Is it, you know, it's different for everyone. That's what
I think just to add to what Margaret said is just the confidence, to build the confidence in yourself as a person, to appreciate yourself so that you're not threatened by what's going around or what is, those people around your husband. I think for women, we have a sixth sense. So many times when you join the dots and you're certain there's something going wrong there, and most probably your husband will not see it. But if you do pray, and most probably that's why God or the Holy Spirit has brought it to your attention. Because your work is to pray. You're a helper. So intercede on his behalf, so that that point in time where the tempter will show up, he will be already armed to now have his eyes open and realize that there's danger here. Because if you say it before, you will become a nagging wife who just talks a lot and there's no evidence. But most probably it was coming to heart, so that you pray about it, not that you talk about it.
And also principles, because I believe also marriage is quite built on principles. I usually say, even if I'm a believing Christian and I am not doing what is right, then I will not get it right.
That's true.
So principles that help both of you do it right, you know. And when we are getting off on principles, we also always remind each other. With my husband, I think we are losing track.
I love that. Do you have any final thoughts? I need to wind up, but I also want you to have something.
You circle everything that you're doing in that marriage, including your children, your food, everything. Your house. Every room, just surround it with prayer and the presence of the Holy Spirit. Then you can make your decisions guided by the Holy Spirit. That's my parting shot.
Wow. What a beautiful show we've had. But thank you so much for joining us. This has been She. Remember, you can get us on YouTube. You can catch up with the past shows. And remember, you can give us your feedback on 20316 or 0786 316 316. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good night.